only truth behind Annabelle is the fact she was a doll.
Annabelle is part of the Conjuring horror universe. The spin-off film takes a lot of creative liberty when painting the story of the doll that still resides in the Warren Occult Museum. The real Annabelle doll was not a creepy porcelain doll like the one portrayed in the film. She was actually a fairly pedestrian-looking Raggedy Ann doll. In Annabelle, a husband gives his doll-collecting wife the haunted toy. In reality, John and Maya of Annabelle never existed. No one in possession of the doll was ever attacked by a satanic cult, and the original owners of the doll never felt anything demonic enough to warrant tossing the doll in the garbage like John and Maya did. And that entire kitchen fire scene. The real doll was never tied to any stories of haunted arson. More Annabelle 16 of 67 The best demonic possession movies 74 of 114 The best intelligent horror movies 14 of 38 The best horror movies about puppets and dummies.
There was no doll maker, Nuns, or Orphans in the true story behind Annabelle creation.
Like the Annabelle film before it, the 2017 prequel Annabelle creation uses a heavy-handed artistic license to paint the picture of a terrifying haunted doll. In the film, a doll maker's daughter, Annabelle, is killed in a car accident. This is the most historically accurate part of the film. The real Annabelle doll was allegedly possessed by a 7-year-old named Annabelle, who also died under these circumstances. Similarities between James Wan's film and the actual doll's origins story stop there, though. There was no doll maker. The parents of the real Annabelle did not pray to unknown entities to bring her back. There were no nuns, no orphanage, and no young girl who became possessed and later joined the Manson family.
There are no records of the boy who allegedly haunted the house in The Changeling.
The writer of the 1980 horror film The Changeling, Russell Hunter, claimed he lived in a haunted house in Denver for 2 years during the late 1960s. While living there, Hunter said he began to experience strange phenomena in the house. In February 1969, Hunter said he found a secret staircase which led to a room with the eerie belongings of a child from a century prior. Hunter deduced from a journal that the boy was disabled and kept in isolation by his parents. This inspired one of the most revered horror films in Hollywood history. Unfortunately, investigative genealogists proved the true story is bogus. At the turn of the century, the era which Hunter claimed the boy was from a childless couple lived in the home. Phil Goodstein's book The Ghosts of Denver, Capitol Hill also points out glaring historical inaccuracies which make Hunter's story less believable. More The Changeling, the terrifying true haunting of a Denver home that inspired The Changeling 412 of 522, the greatest movies of the 1980s, ranked 11 of 27 films. Stephen King has awarded his personal stamp of approval.
The Mothman from the Mothman Prophecies is just an urban legend.
The Mothman is an urban legend from the town of Point Pleasant, WV. Hollywood brought the local boogeyman to the big screen in The Mothman Prophecies, presenting the story as true. The only problem is it's entirely fake. The Mothman is as real as Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Despite claims from a few die-hard fanatics, there has never been any verifiable, recorded evidence of the Mothman. Even director Mark Pellington admitted, it's really very fictionalized. Maybe it would have been more accurate to say inspired by true events, rather than based on true events. or the Mothman Prophecies 71 of 234 the best psychological thrillers of all time, 238 of 722 the best horror movies of all time, 21 of 34 the best scary movies based on true stories.
The Blair Witch Project was entirely made up.
One of the reasons the Blair Witch Project was such a smash hit was because moviegoers assumed the movie was not just based on a true story, but was actual found footage of a real experience. Shot with handheld cameras and starring unknown actors, the movie was set up from the beginning to look real when, in fact, it was entirely fabricated. There isn't even a legend of a Blair Witch or a Blair Witch-like entity. It's pure, unadulterated fiction. Or the Blair Witch Project, while details the cast and crew has revealed about making the Blair Witch Project 128 of 234 the best psychological thrillers of all time, 77 of 722 the best horror movies of all time.
The concept of the possession was real. The movie's plot was not.
The possession centers around a debug box, a wooden wine cabinet said to be possessed by evil spirits. Debug boxes are a real phenomenon with a long history, and the movie employs a lot of the commonly accepted knowledge about these eerie little containers. But as for the plot of the possession, it's mostly all made up. While there was a real debug box that was allegedly haunted, the story presented by the film never happened. Or the Possession 11 of 67 the best demonic possession movies, 33 of 42 the best horror movies streaming on Hulu, 16 of 19 the best paranormal movies streaming on Hulu. The real people behind the haunting in Connecticut couldn't keep their stories straight. The real Emily Rose from the Exorcism of Emily Rose was epileptic, not possessed.
Hostel is based on an unfounded rumor.
Hostel is based on an unfounded rumor. Wolf Creek combines elements of two real-life crimes. The director of The Strangers admitted it was not based on any factual event.
There never was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There never was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The real story of The Exorcist didn't quite happen in the way it was portrayed.
The Conjuring took significant creative liberties with child slaying.
The Conjuring took significant creative liberties with child slaying.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.